guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to the Wolterman Homestead. This is a collaboration video. We got tagged by the Citystead. If you have not checked out the Citystead, you totally should. They're actually north of us in Michigan, and they have like a little urban farm at their home, and they live in town. But so he is kind of following a new path and a new dream with his homestead, and he's now going to start growing garlic, which is really neat. And he has a little greenhouse and just has really great videos and really great content. But so he got tagged by Wholesome Roots in this collaboration with 5 gardening tips in 5 minutes. So hopefully we can keep it within that 5 minutes, but I'm excited to share our 5 gardening tips with you guys. If you've been following our channel for a while, you know that this year was kind of one of the first year, kind of growing our own food and doing better than the year that we did before. So it's all been a learning. So like my first tip to you would be go for it. Don't be afraid that like something might die. It's part of gardening. You know, the most experienced gardener, you know, loses things or things fail, but they got to that experience by trial and error and losing things, and you know, plants that they planted didn't turn out right or they turned out great. So that'd be my first tip, is don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and experiment. Grow whatever you're wanting to grow. So that's my first thing. Don't be afraid of it. Tip number 2 is we live in Indiana, and so we wanted to kind of extend our growing season, so we have a greenhouse. This is the first year that we've had the greenhouse. We got it in about February of last year, so this is our first winter in here. It has been about 60 degrees in here today, and it's been 30 degrees outside. It's about 51 in here right now. I have thermometer. I got it at Royal King, and so this little piece stays out here, and then the other piece is in the house, so I kind of always know what temperature it is out here even when I'm inside. So that's the second thing is, like, if you want to extend your growing season, there are definitely different ways of doing that. My husband built us these raised tables, and then underneath the tables we put raised beds. So we're able to grow things. We have some kale. We've got different lettuce varieties all the way down to the other end. This is a 6x8 greenhouse. And then we have more lettuce on this side. So like that's kind of tip number 2, is there are different things that you could do to extend your growing season. Like a greenhouse or a what are they? Little sun boxes. Like you could Roots and Refuge flipped over totes, clear totes, and you could plant in or soil bags. There are different things that you can do to extend your growing season. My tip number 3 and 4, they kind of go together. Tip number 3 would be to save your eggshells. So when you're baking, doing things with your eggs, save the eggshells. You can pop them in the oven, 150, 200 degrees, and just kind of roast them, bake them a little bit until the yolk's all dried out, and then you just crush them up. You could stick them in a blender or put them in a Ziploc bag and smash them up that way. You could even stick them in a mason jar and just kind of jam them down with a fork or a knife or a spoon. Woo. That scared me. These 2 birds just landed on the top of the greenhouse. Yeah, save your eggshells. And then you could use the calcium in your garden. So you can sprinkle it in your compost, or you could sprinkle it on top. We have raised beds. On top of your raised beds, some people will feed the eggshells back to their chickens for more calcium, or just add some grit. So then this goes along with number 4, would be calcium. So kind of at the end of our gardening season this year, we had some blossom end rot, which is where you have your tomato and it looks really good on top. Shaggy. He sees the chicken. We have a Shih Tzu. And so your tomato looks really good on top, but then the bottom is just rotten and really, really gross. And that's something I learned this year, is it is due to the rot and it just rots, and it's due to the lack of calcium for your plant. So you could sprinkle your eggshells to add calcium back to your soil. Okay, so then tip number 5, I will walk you out here and show you my tip number 5. Tip number 5 would be raised beds. It's kind of windy out here. So earlier this year we fixed this whole side of the yard. You can see where we had laid grass. But our yard was really swampy, and so we can now tell where we need to continue fixing. But because our yard is so swampy and we have such a high water table, as Dylan calls it, the water's frozen under my feet, we put in raised beds. And so it's just really helped with our garden this year. We had a much better garden than years in the past where we just regular garden, you know, you just till it and then plant your stuff. So that would be the raised beds. And then of course, so many people mention the cattle panels. You can bend them, you can do so many different things with cattle panels, and things grow up them. They're just a great support system. So that is kind of my number 5, would be raised beds. Have been super helpful to us with our growing season this year and our garden this year. So that's kind of it for my 5 gardening tips in hopefully 5 minutes. But I'm excited to hear what your 5 gardening tips might be, or some things that you learned this year in gardening season, or just prior seasons that you just learned over the years. So this is a collaboration video, so we are going to go ahead and tag a couple of channels. First channel would be K&A Family Homestead. They are a great channel. They are, to me, in the frigid north, up in Massachusetts, I believe. So they have a little homestead, and they have chickens and goats, and they're just a really great channel to check out and watch. That cold caught my breath. And then secondly would be chickens. Secondly would be Overlook Valley Homestead, Mark and Sarah. You've heard us talk about them a lot. They are a really great channel as well. They are south of us. I want to say they're from Tennessee. Mark's a Tennessee fan. So they are a great channel to check out. They have a dairy cow. She's currently dried up, but that will be a fun process to watch them do a little bit next year. They're just great as well. Sarah does some really cool baking and canning videos that are awesome to learn and kind of educate yourself about. And then we want to also tag Ozark Mountain Goats. So they are a really great channel. They do a lot of canning, a lot of cooking. They have a beautiful garden as well in some of their videos, and the way they grow their tomatoes, like, just really neat how people do different things. So they are a great channel. We are going to tag them as well. I will try and drop everybody down below in the show notes so that you can find their channels and go check them out and go support them. So thanks for watching it. Take care and God bless. If you have not subscribed, hit that red subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Take care, guys. God bless.